Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Optus Oval here in Melbourne. A cool, overcast day, but absolutely perfect for football. And this very important game for Carlton, and in particular for Sydney, who've got to try and stop the losing run that has been with them for the past 4 weeks. Andrew Dunkley in screen number 6 won the toss and is kicking to the left of screen here at Optus Oval. I'm joined by two former greats of the game, Paul Roos and Jared Healy. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good on you, Sandy, and good to be here, and good to be working with you, Paul. We should see a very committed Sydney Swans outfit given the results of the last month.
Yeah, look, even though they have been close games, they certainly need to arrest the slide, don't they, today? 4 in a row is just too many games to lose.
And I guess, Sandy, it's very difficult to underestimate the performance of the Blues in recent times at their home ground.
Let's go down to the boundary line. With us once again, too, head of the boundary riders, Dipper.
Thanks very much, boys. And, hello, the siren's gone off there, but as the boys mentioned, Carlton have got a fantastic record here at Optus Oval, and the conditions down here are just terrific. I'd say it's the best surface in the AFL at the moment. We've had a lot of rain today, but I can certainly tell the ground is quite hard. And for the benches, for the Swans, first strike, Ryan O'Connor, Roosie, I think he's lost about 20 kilos. Looks fantastic.
Maybe you get on his diet, Dipper.
Ryan Fitzgerald and Brett Kirk. And also for Carlton, we've got Michael Mansfield, Lappin, Favola and Simon Fletcher. And there's a bit of a strong breeze down here, but it's about a 3-goal breeze heading towards, well, away from the city.
Well, we can see Lance Whitnell pushing up his starting position on the wing. At centre-half forward for the Swans is Adam Goods, picked up by the great Anthony Koutafidis.
So here we go. It's Carlton and Sydney. Creswell tries to get it out of the middle. He's unsuccessful. There is a free kick being picked up. And will go the way of Sydney to be taken by Creswell. Looking to give it off, and he does to the left foot of Schwass. Goes down towards half forward. Bounce, an awkward one in actual fact for Schäuble. Loses it now. Ratton, a chip in towards the middle is going to be okay.
Looks like Swash has also started down back on Craig Bradley, who's starting a forward pocket too, so that'll be an interesting matchup.
Here's 50. This is going to bring Houghton to within scoring distance.
Well, it was a marginal call, but he was fractionally late, was Andrew Dunkley. But, Paul, it was a start that I'm sure Sydney Swan supporters would be a little bit perturbed at, with Darren Creswell electing to go short with a handball, and then Swass going short with a kick, a non-kick that went to Andrew Dunkley, and all of a sudden a turnover after much possession.
Certainly has been a problem over the last 2 or 3 weeks with their turnovers.
Houghton, 5 goals, 1 for the season so far. Now 6 goals, 1. Dream start for the Blues.
Yeah, interesting. Wayne Swass, as I said, starting down back on Bradley. Ran to make position for Darren Creswell, but just the turnover. And as you said, Jared, just marginally late, wasn't it, on Andrew Dunkley? Yep. So that's I mean, a 50 in that case is a real tough call, because he was actually seen to be marking the ball just as Andrew got there. So really, I guess the point is, what is a defender supposed to do in that case? Do you really have to concede? And probably should have done so in that case.
Trent Houghton taking advantage of the 50-metre penalty, kicking his 20th career goal. Allen's going to have a big job in ruck again. Gets it down towards Ratton. Had it for a long time and lost it. Stafford gives it out to Creswell. Goes on to the left foot, putting Sydney inside 50 for the first time. Silvani used the body, then looked for the free kick. Didn't come his way. Freeborn's in a spot of bother as well. He goes to ground. Here's a chance for Johnny Stevens. He bends it back to Stevens, and there's the quick reply.
Well, what a contrast in style that was, with and it all started with Darren Creswell. He kicked the ball long.
Yeah, well, that's I know, Jared, you've been a little bit critical of the Swans over the last few weekends, but that's the difference. If you get the ball in quickly, and Ball versus Silvani is going to be a very important contest, as will Koutafidis versus Goods. Jude Bolton there, who is a very, very good in and under player, just got the ball out to Johnny Stevens, and really the Swans did need to kick that one, and the scores are level.
And an interesting positional start for Jason Sannington, playing basically as a third tall on the forward line.
Whitnell through, but without it. Good hand pass, finishes with Koutafidis. Had a fantastic game last week, and so too did Andrew McKay. leading the Carlton defence. Kicks down towards Whitnell. He's away as Big Lance. Inside 50. Goes for home, but he's away to the right. And it's smashed over for one behind.
It certainly looks like a bit of cat and mouse at the moment, doesn't it, Gerald? You've got Whitnell starting on the wing, and he looks like he's going straight through the centre bounce, straight running to centre half forward, obviously for that quick kick out, which he nearly did mark on that occasion. And then I also noticed Troy Luff just happened to be on Craig Bradley, so there's going to be a lot of shuffling about today.
Schwass to bring it back in. Always a lovely deliverer of the ball. Dunkley's got to get a free kick.
Advantage poach, Andy.
And it is as O'Loughlin runs through the middle up towards half forward. At the back, Ahmad is taken out of it, but they'll go again, Sydney. Ball hasn't stolen by McKay. As I said, he was very good last week. An interesting hand pass lands on the back of Dean Rice, who with that interesting looking 2-week-old helmet sees it over the line.
Yeah, it was a good tackle by Robbie Ahmed, put him out of business, and an assist over the line by the newest armadillo in the competition.
Sydney will be looking for big things from Ball. Franchina close to the line. He goes again, almost through it to Camporelli. He was held illegally by Nix. He cannot believe it. There will be a throw-in.
Just on the Swans forward line too, it looks like they're leaving Robbie Armett one out in the goal square with Dean Rice. They're pushing Jason Ball and Adam Goods right up the ground.
Beaumont, who came into this side late, has got a big job. He's picking up Michael O'Loughlin, and Anthony Franchina, who was a star for the Blues last week, stitching up Matthew Knights, is tagging leaping Leo Barry.
Nix gets a free kick towards half forward. Carlton have the numbers. They've also got Lance Whitnell. He heads to the outer side. Aaron Hamill leads Troy Luff in the race on the outer wing. Hamill, aggressive and hard at the ball. He gives it off to Matthew Allen. Onto the trusty left foot he goes. Inside 50 towards Houghton again. One grab but was unable to take the mark. Pressure on Stewie Maxfield. Playing his 100th game for Sydney. Goes wide to the outer side. Luff is there. Look at the Carlton boys scrambling against each other for that ball. Houghton tries to size up his options. Does so now, but the kick is partly smothered. Pressure on the Sydney defence. It's taken over the line with a scrambling pass by Schwass. And we've got a throw in, as I said. Stewie Maxfield, who played 89 games with the Tigers, notching up his 100th for Sydney today. Good achievement. Stafford hurriedly back towards Nix. He's at half-back. Long up towards Ball at half forward. Got a hand to it, but that was all. Glenn Manton tidies up to Freeborn, who chips in towards the centre and finds Hickmott. Beaumont streaming down the ground and caught from behind. O'Loughlin's a chance. Sockers it forward to Ahmad. If it sits, he could be in business. He needs help. Bolton gets the hand pass. Beautiful play by Sydney. Schäuble for goal.
And the faithful here at Optus absolutely filthy about their man being tackled from behind. But once the umpire calls play on, if you haven't had the awareness to know that there is somebody lurking in the background, you're in trouble.
It's interesting too, that plan with Whitnell playing up on the wing, it obviously came back to bite him a little bit there, because Schäuble, being the goal kicker, has picked up Whitnell and pushed forward. So that's really hurt Carlton in that case there, with Schäuble kicking the goal.
First goal to Andrew Schäuble for the day, second for Sydney.
And a 2-on-1 situation developing at centre forward for the Blues. Maxfield is desperately trying to get on to Brett Backwell, but he has another young man in Darren Hume trying to pick him up.
Stafford a hand to it. Beaumont the hand pass to McKay. He's away towards half forward. Carlton now wanting the answer. Schwass takes the hand pass, and from half back it's a long kick back towards Saddington and co. 1-2 grabs, couldn't complete the mark. Whitnell is at the back, goes on to the right boot up towards the half forward line, and the mark is taken by Hume.
And we've seen Schwass twice running off Craig Bradley, who's lining up, looks like at full forward, so that could be a problem if Braddles doesn't sort of tighten up a bit.
Into a congested half forward region, a fine mark taken by Hamill.
Yeah, spot on, Rudy. That's where Braddles has started off, and Schwass is with him, and Camporelli is now moving the forward line as well.
Troy Luff just trying on the umpire, trying to sneak a couple of metres to no avail. So Hamill will kick from just outside 50, almost directly in front. As you can see, No major angle problems. Tugged it slightly to the left. A big pack of players going into the pocket, and Koutafidis is one who sees it over the line.
A pretty small forward line at the moment, boys.
Yeah, it is
For Carlton.
unusual, isn't it, for Carlton? And also another matchup, Jared Crouch, who's been in pretty good form for the Swans, picking up Camporelli, and Camporelli's averaging about 31 possessions a game, so that's a huge job for Crouch.
Stafford trying to do it from the back. Bradley bending it back in towards full forward. No one at home. Saddington.
And what's the role that Saddington's playing here, Roosie? We saw him start across the half-forward line and takes that mark deep in defence.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like he's got a bit of a free licence to push up the ground at this stage.
Dunkley to Schwartz in towards the middle. Camporelli gets his kick back towards half-forward again. A lot of red.
As soon as he got that ball, Sandy, he looked up the field and there was no tools there at all, and they're just playing in Dunkley's hands then.
Dunkley again to Schwartz. Thought about Stevens short. Now we'll look further afield, perhaps towards Stafford, O'Loughlin, or even Ball. And it is the latter with Silvani. A bit of an arm wrestle going on there. Hickmott keeps it in play to Koutafidis, runs the boundary line and bends it back, a wobbly, ugly punt in towards Hume. He's clear and he's going to put him inside 50 towards Bradley. And the aging Craig Bradley takes the mark. He'll have a shot now.
Sandy, that was a clever kick by Koutafidis. He was tight on the boundary line and just found some space then. He just wanted to put the ball in front of his teammate.
He's carrying on that form dipper of last week. He was sensational against Richmond.
What about that little nudge there in the end, Jared, just after he took the mark to Wayne Schwartz, maybe indicating if you're going to run off to me all day, Schwatter, I might kick a couple of goals on you.
Well, what we do know about Craig Bradley is generally he's an outstanding shot at goal, either on the run or a set shot, as this one confirms. Just not quite as outstanding as he would have liked on that occasion.
It confirms the point. The point, sorry.
Golly.
It is a real game of cat and mouse at the moment. It's defenders going forward, Whitnell being a forward going back. Saddington, as you mentioned, Jared, seems to be pushing up the ground. So there's certainly a lot of movement out there.
It's almost like a game of old-fashioned British Bulldog, with both sides forcing themselves right into defence and then running forward with the footy.
Nick's kick out is taken by Freeborn. McKay. Bradley, he might have another crack at it. He's 48 out, a centering kick, he needs a mark. Lappin was a fly, Hickmott can give it to Camporelli. The former Woodville West Torrens boy goes short. And Matthew Allen now is in a far better position to shoot for goal.
Well, the Blues taking their opportunities here. Jason Saddington will perhaps rue the drop test mark. It was a tough one, but they're the ones you've got to take, particularly early in a match when you're at a home ground. You've got to keep things going your way. When you're at somebody else's home ground, it's all important to start well.
Last year's club champion, 46 metres out. Fine drop punt, kicks a goal.
There's a good point, Jared. Jason Saddington, he was in the right spot, didn't he? He made the move to get in the hole, in the hot spot. Craig Bradley was a pretty good kick, I thought, from the boundary line also. And just watch him here. Yeah, just probably could have taken it in his hands rather than on his chest there. Ball spills to ground, and that's the difference, Jared, as you mentioned. Instead of Sydney Swans going into attack and possibly kicking a goal down the other end, we've seen a 2-goal turnaround and Matthew Allen slotting one through for the Blues.
Carlton by 2 points as the Sydney coaching staff settle in for the day.
And I'm going to start by Matthew Allen, who was the best ruckman in the competition last year. And in the last couple of weeks, he's really starting to hit his straps.
Stafford gives it to Bolton, who also tried to do what Stafford did. Give it a slap forward. McKay's kick is smothered. Bolton tries to soccer off the ground. And going again. There's McKay at the bottom of that pack. It is held. Umpires today, Steve McBurney, Scott McLaren, Stuart Wen.
That is a key matchup, Greg Stafford versus Matthew Allen. Both big and mobile, and both capable of getting 20 to 25 possessions around the ground as well.
Allen wins it, but taken by Bolton. Round the body. Rice wants a kind bounce. He doesn't get it. Ball tried to slap it wide. Silvani did well. Towards Camporelli. Looks for the free kick.
Oh, this is a big decision.
Well, it's gone the other way. Umpire Stuart Wen.
Well, there's no doubt that Scott Camporelli got rid of the football. Whether or not he got rid of it before he was tackled is debatable. It's going to be a big interest in the replay on this one, Sandy. Jason Ball, simply you've got to go back and barrel this now.
Kicked 4 last week.
And he's pulled it.
1 point.
It's interesting. He definitely made the tackle, didn't he, Ball? But I guess the other case was, did Camporelli just drop it, or was it jarred loose in the tackle? And that's probably one of the grey areas in the tackling rule at the moment.
Dean Rice brings it back. Allen or Koutafidis, they're both there. Kouta's an exciting touch, but Adam Goods is a very, very exciting player. The boy from Horsham finds Bolton inside 50.
Yeah, that's another very good matchup. Adam Goods is probably one of the few players in league football that can match up physically and athletically with Koutafidis. Both about 6'4", 6'5", and Goods is a very, very talented athlete, as is Koutafidis.
Bolton kicking from 46 metres. He doesn't miss.
Well, I think Jason Ball, out of all at the ground, would be the most relieved after that one went through from Jude Bolton, because it in effect means that his miss hasn't cost the Sydney Swans, given that they've just taken it straight back and put one through. But
we saw yesterday too, Jared, the kickouts for St Kilda being a real problem, and really now it's as much an offensive weapon, the zones, as what the kickouts used to be an offensive weapon. So it was certainly an area that they'll have to tighten up on, the Blues.
Shawball now going to centre-half forward. Looks like a Whitnell back of full forward, and Adam Goods has now picked up Whitnell as a backman.
Goal for goal here at Optus Oval at the moment. An interesting seesawing first quarter. McKay tries to rip it out of the middle. He's not successful. Freeborn juggles it, then gets a hurried kick. There's a nest of Blues there. Ratton gives it away to McKay. He tumbles it inside 50. At the back is Luff, but there's been a whistle. The advantage will be paid, and Luff is away. Troy Boy on the outer side. Looks up towards right half forward, Matthew Nicks. Should have taken the mark, but he hasn't. And it's going to be a costly turnover. Was given away by McKay initially. Now Ratton up towards centre wing. Allen lopes along the outer side. Sends Carlton deep into their attacking zone. Houghton is at the back. There was a line of 3. Pressure on the Sydney defence. Dunkley wants to try and charge his way through. They'll get away with it with a hand pass. And Maxfield, usually precision-like with his kicking, and that is no exception. Ahmad gives it off quickly towards Bolton. Bolton flicks it inside 50. Great play. Schäuble marks, and he'll have a shot directly in front, 50 out.
A couple of Carlton players at the wrong time just fell over in that forward pocket there.
yeah, spot on dipper up in their forward line. But well, this is a great transition of play by Sydney. Skill's not letting them down there. We saw what can happen with the Troy Luff kick if you don't hit targets.
This to stretch Sydney's lead. He kicks from 48 metres, starts at left, and just a fraction too far left.
Interesting too, Andrew Schäuble in that case finding himself at full forward. So good lead by Schäuble out in front of Koutafidis, but just a bit of a change there, whether Schäuble's gone forward or not too sure whether he just followed the play down.
No, he's gone forward, Roosie. He's definitely playing centre-half forward, full forward.
And Adam Goods, as you said, Dipper is pushed onto Whitnell.
Camporelli to McKay. Third kick already. Allen, an effective spoiler, but Creswell's waiting down in front. Chips towards Nick. They can have a shot here. He shouldn't miss. 55 out. Wow. That's an opportunity going begging. No pressure. Slight breeze at his back and unable to capitalise.
And how's it going, the move of Matthew Nicks into the forward line, Paul?
I think what they're actually trying to do, as much as anything, Andrew McKay, who's been a very damaging player for Carlton, looks like they're trying to drag him up the ground a bit, and Matthew's got a few possessions up around the wing, and I think it's probably a good ploy to get McKay out of what he does like to play as that general sort of half-back flank area.
A couple of racehorses on the outer side, Franchina and Bolton.
Looks like Bradley now on the ball, and Swass is following Bradley everywhere.
Allen and Stafford lock arms, so no one a decisive winner. A loose hand pass may open the door for Freeborn, but he can't get a clear run at it. Neither could Hickmott. An attempted sock off the ground lands with McKay. Oh, scooped out the back door to Ahmad. But it was the wrong way to scoop it. McKay to take the free kick. Comes away to Hickmott. Time to steady. Kouta says go on. keeps Nicks at bay, kicks to half forward, almost a mark to Hamill. Luff gives it across to Creswell. Centering hand pass. Oh, Maxfield got rid of it very, very quickly. Dunkley back to Creswell. They're chipping around and mucking around. Camporelli comes over the top. Luff tries to get them going towards Armat, still in the middle. Finally, they get a kick clear. Through Matthews, down towards right half forward. Ball and Silvani. Ball still going. Ball is the cry. They can't believe it, Carlton fans. It goes to the outer side. Stafford tries to steal it from Allen. Allen eventually wins it, gives it to Camporelli. She's warming up here at Optus now. In towards full forward. Hamill is caught well behind. Now he tries to get in front. Can't do so initially. Matthews goes again. It's socket off the ground. The race is on. Hickmon, Nicks, heads for the line. And does it pretty well in the end, forcing a throw-in.
Well, I think your observation pretty fair, Sandy, that the game has certainly gone up a level or two now. Prior opportunity is the only issue here.
Well, you would suggest that he went to take him on, didn't he? The fact that he actually put his arm back and went to push Silvani off. So I think Steve Silvani considered himself a bit unlucky with that lack of free kick.
The Goods hand pass was okay towards Dunkley, but his kick goes straight to Koutafidis. Kouta chips into half forward, and he too is a little short. Saddington defends.
Bradley back at the back line now, boys. And Franchetta now picking up Swass, who seems to be playing half forward.
Armac through the middle, in towards O'Loughlin, but chipping in to take the mark in front was good. Now inside 50. Here comes the lead again. Ball goes to ground. Silvani right there with him. He was the spoiler. Crouch is taken away by McKay. Bolton and Rice go to ground. We've got another throw-in.
Have you ever seen a player more expert at infringing Roosie without giving away free kicks?
I'll tell you what Steve Silvani does very, very well, and that's take the arms and the body rather than just going for the football. When you're playing on a taller player like Ball, if you're always trying to hit the football, it's very difficult. You watch Silvani play, he's very adept at just taking an arm or grabbing a little handful of jumper at times, but he does that very well.
Lappin wanted the free kick and has got it, held by the jumper. And that was before he kicked it out of bounds on the full, so he's got it.
Pretty easy out there. Ask and you shall receive.
Well, it is Sunday. Towards centre wing. Big pack of players, and it's smashed over the line.
But that compared to Steve Silvani's a couple of attempts to spoil and smother have been almost identical, and yet Sauce continually just seems to stay the right side of the line.
7 points the margin, 6.5 minutes remaining. Camporelli can't pick it up. Creswell's got him.
Now, really, he dragged that football underneath.
Yeah.
I know that rule sometimes is hard on the player going for the football, but in that case, I really felt Camporelli actually dragged the ball back underneath him.
Shawball now forward. He's got Manton. Silvani continues to go with ball. And Bradley started at full forwards, now at full back.
Koutafidis just trying to palm it down. Hamill charges through. Creswell on his hammer, loses it. Camporelli taken over the line.
But Craig Bradley's played over 300 games, Gerard. I would suggest he would never have played full back before.
No,
not often. McKay's now pushed onto Barry. Swasser's on the half-forward flank, being picked up by Backwell.
Ratton with strength gets it out. We wanted right, but Bolton intercepts. Sydney up over the middle again towards O'Loughlin. Beaumont got a kind of bounce off to McKay. Back towards left half forward. Allen from behind forced to slap it down to Hume. That's okay. Back to Allen. He should pick a goal. He lopes in towards full forward and he kicks a goal. Matty Allen kicks his second. Carlton come back to within a point.
He seems to be playing more as a forward type ruckman, doesn't he? He's pushing forward with, I guess, what they're saying this Greg Stafford is. Here we see here, he's really forward of the wing. Pretty good contest there from Matty Allen, but this is what he can give you also at ground level. He's a very skillful big man, but it appears as though Parko and Britton are saying, well, we'll take Greg Stafford down the back half and we'll make him play a defensive role on Matty Allen at this stage.
So problems in the ruck for the Swans, not so much at centre bounces and stop ball situations, but the fact that Matthew Allen now is their #1 goal kicker.
He has two. Wins it out of the middle again, and Lappin was on the end of it. Still, in fact, he dragged that back in. He's going to get a free kick for a push. Wayne Schwass riding him, can't believe it. He plays on, however, to Manton, who kicks up towards half forward. Whitnell came charging out. There was a big pack of players there. Nix may get a free kick for one too high. Matthew Nix just on the defensive side of centre, kicks towards half forward. Carlton have the numbers. Manton was the effective spoiler. Lappin is waiting down. He gets taken to ground and loses it. He's got plenty of support, however, in Beaumont. Chips through with his left foot up towards half forward again. Hamill the flyer from the back. Bolton waiting down in front. Schwass wanting it on the left foot. No, he goes backwards to Matthews, who goes to the outer side. The race is on here. Leaping Leo Batty is up against Freeborn. It's the latter who does it with ease. Off to Whitnell. Lance Whitnell's hand pass was interesting. It bounces okay for Hume. Back to McKay. They've come backwards to the middle of the ground. Up towards Rice, who chips in and takes a fine mark. Wants to go on with it, thought about Camporelli, now goes back to Ratton, in towards half forward. Franchina beaten by Schwass.
Jude Bolton's had a magnificent start to this match, picking up plenty of possessions.
Armat on the outer side. Spoke about Bolton, just edged out on that occasion. Koutoufides to Lappin, back to Koutoufides. Whitnell forced to defend. Houghton applying a good tackle.
They played Nix.
This has been a good first quarter. He finds Goods. In turn to Bolton. Wider still as seconds tick away. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Throw in on the outer side.
It appears both teams are pretty content to either have one loose man in the back half, and at this stage, Mackay, who I said early on, well done, and there he is there, Andrew Mackay, been picked up by Matthew Nix. Matthew Nix has pushed up the ground, and Mackay's had 9 possessions already, so that seems to be working in Carlton's favour rather than the Sydney Swans.
Here's Freeborn giving it away. Lappin just a hit and hope really on that occasion. Wobbles it to right half back. Hume gets a B-grade bounce and just about gets caught. Bradley a little toe poke. Clever by Bradley. Perhaps looking to put it onto the chest of Hume or bounce it over the line. He had those two options.
There's the big Rhino, who's dropped down a couple of sizes in the shorts department. Really has lost plenty of kilos.
Stafford slaps it out the back. Mackay running with the ball. Gives it away now to Camporelli. In the end has plenty of time to look towards Hickmott down towards the middle. Adrian Hickmott has Camporelli running down the ground, and he uses him now. Scotty will chip in short. Oh, Hamill dropped what he should have taken. He'll be keen to make amends. He gives it to Lappin. Lappin fires it. Goal! And Aaron Hamill, don't worry about the missed mark. He got the goal.
Well, don't worry about the missed mark, but I reckon Rod knew to be filthy with Robbie Armat, who's on 3 or 4 occasions this quarter already has been guilty of 3-quarter chases and 3-quarter attempts at tackles. And you'll just watch Scott Camporelli come into screen here, and there's Robbie Armat once again, just happy to be 3 or 4 metres off the pace, and if by chance his man gets it, too late. 3 metres, you might as well be a mile behind.
Two minutes remaining in this first quarter. Good comeback by Carlton, who've kicked the last couple.
Great running by Camporelli there too, running from basically the back pocket, full length of the ground, gaining 2 possessions and really set up that goal.
Saddington can't take it out of the middle. He tried to pick it up again. Ratton, he's always at the bottom, isn't he? The master in the engine room. O'Loughlin takes it from Schwass, bends it round the body. Good's got an awful bounce. So too did Hume. Sydney has the numbers. Johnny Stevens leads in the race, now gets caught and overtaken. He asked the question, but umpire Stuart Wen will come in and have a bounce.
Not surprisingly, the Swans have reacted a couple of minutes ago by putting Stafford to full forward, and Adam Goods with extra mobility has gone into the ruck.
Michael Mansfield coming back into this Carlton lineup awaits his chance. Been some good individual performances in this quarter. Schwartz has had 8 possessions. McKay has had 10. Bolton has done very well. He gives it to Nix. Now kick a goal, Matthew. 53 metres out, and he's done exactly that.
Terrific stuff by Jude Bolton. I think, Gerard, you mentioned earlier on, he had a big impact in the game. He's had 8 or 9 possessions, and just picking that ball up off his feet in his stride. And if we watch it here, comes out, great pick up there, and terrific quick hands. And Matthew Nix, who missed one earlier from about the same distance out, and that's a very good finish. And I think we all agree it's a great game at the moment.
7 lead changes already, Paul.
That interesting Nix-McKay duel too. I mean, I mentioned McKay's had 10 possessions, but I think Matthew Nix has been pretty effective, and they've just made a change. Bradley's gone on to Nix, and McKay's dropped back onto John Stevens.
And I think that goal would have hurt too, as with a minute to go, Ball does well to get away from the clutches of Silvani. Schwartz out in front of O'Loughlin. Beaumont to intercept, and he does to Rice. Back to Beaumont again. Carlton defence hanging on close to siren time. Whitnell marks on centre wing.
Couple of loose players in the middle.
Elects to come the flank. Ratton slaps it forward. No one at home, however. Saddington gives it away to Crouch, who kicks in towards the centre. Bradley caught one high. Nix turns into trouble, almost out of it. Ball overruns it. Silvani almost taken high, but he ducked his head. Hickmont gives it out to Koutafidis. He's claimed. Back to Silvani again. Finally, Beaumont's on the end of it. He steadies. Looks to go long. Creswell uses the body against Ratton, and good use of it too. Did very well. Schäuble. O'Loughlin. They're running out of time. He chips over the top. They've still got it. Barry. He's going to be forced onto the right boot. Chipping into the pocket. The kick's got to be good. Just run out of time.
Is that a free kick?
Not according to the umpire. It's quarter time. Matthew Nix did, however, ask the question and is still asking it, Roosie. And now receiving the explanation. A good first quarter here at Optus Oval. As we said, the lead changed hands 7 times. Sydney have their noses in front by a point. It's 4-3 Sydney. Carlton are 4 goals too. Second quarter here at Optus. There's a point in it. Good game of footy.
Stafford back in the ruck.
I hope you're enjoying it wherever you may be viewing. Allen wins it, can't take it out. Ratton has a couple of goes towards Camporelli. He does it well eventually onto the left foot. Carlton inside 50. Pressure on Dunkley, but he stands up when he has to.
A couple of key players for both sides yet to make a major impact. Brett Ratton's got his numbers up as far as possessions, but hasn't really been dominant. And I think Michael O'Loughlin, man with the footy, is also yet to hit his straps in this match.
O'Loughlin, 6 possessions so far. Stafford trying to come from behind, not successful. Mandan towards the line, and Lappin, his hand pass smothered by Schwartz. Not a full house here at Optus Oval, but a pretty healthy crowd. And a throw in on centre wing. Stafford, Allen, Stafford with the right hand. Down towards Bolton. No hope whatsoever of getting rid of that ball. Locked in there by Scott Camporelli.
We mentioned the Stafford-Allen contest. It was key in the first quarter, wasn't it? Allen 5 possessions and 2 goals, and Stafford only had 2 possessions, had to go down to full forward. So it'll be interesting how that pans out in this quarter.
Allen wins it. Crouch tries to find Schwartz. He's got to beat a couple. Camporelli is one. Off to Freeborn, now Rice. A punt kick towards centre wing. Good shepherding. Opened the door for Houghton. He gives it to Ratton. Ratton's kick very disappointing. Schäuble taking it uncontested. He goes off to Luff. They break to the outer side, and one of those is Saddington. He may look towards Goods.
Come back to Schäuble.
Or come back, yes, exactly the way it came, and he does. Schäuble now. Bounced his way out of defence. Finding Dunkley, who's almost down to the wing, who will pop it over the top to Nix, who can go on with it. Centering ball by Nix. That's who he's looking for. Jason Ball. Pop the shove, and the big man will take the free kick.
There's those little subtle free kicks you were talking about earlier, Gerard. He got pinged for that one.
Well, that happened one time this century.
And the century's only just started. Freeborn to Bradley. Wide to Camporelli. Ratton screaming for it. And he's got it at half-back. Fine smother by Nix. Ratton perhaps taking a fraction too long as he sized up his options.
Just telling some of his forwards to move a bit quicker.
Yeah, I think that's right, Dipper. It's interesting there, when he looked up the ground, I think he saw there wasn't a lot on offer, so he just held the kick back, and it was a pretty good effort by Matthew Nix to smother.
Ball doing the ruck work from behind. Ratton off to Silvani, now Camporelli. By gee, he's had a start to the second quarter, Scott Camporelli. Whitnall. The Whitnall is away to Hume. Maxwell will get him. Saddington. Matthews. From the back pocket. Back towards Nix and Bradley. Neither can take it. Ratton to Bradley. Off to Allen. Now Manton. Back again to Allen. Around they go. Dishing it out. Eventually Freeborn. Up towards half forward. Hamill is the thief as he comes from behind and steals that mark. He'll have a shot directly in front and almost 50 out.
A terrific player, Alan Harrell, always pushing forward for the football, always leading from in front, and he also is the second best tackler in the league too, which is pretty unusual for a forward who don't tend to like to tackle too much, the forwards. But Aaron Hannibal works very, very hard, and that was a good mark coming over the back.
Very aggressive forward, isn't he?
He is very hard at the football, and as I said, to be the second leading tackler in the league and being a forward is an unusual situation.
Hamill. Kicked 13 goals, 9 so far this season. And that's one he will not want to ride
One out
home
of
about.
bounds.
Thank you, Dip. A nervous Dipper on the boundary line. The boy from Tuggeranong, Aaron Hamill. Here's Whitnall. Oh, Hickmont! Can he make a match? Yes, he can!
That is a great goal.
Particularly good, Carlton, around the rucks and the boundary throws. They are very good at the takeaways there. They've got good on-ballers, Ratton, Bradley, Camporelli to take it. Let's just watch this here. All he's done here is really just drop the ball in front of him, and that's probably a set play that they work on during training. Hickmont running at full speed, and it's very hard to stop for a defender once they get that head of steam up. And a great play from Whitnall and Hickmont.
And Moses, the Red Sea opening.
An infringement in the square. The free kick's going the way of Carlton. Allen gave it to Camporelli. He looks towards Houghton at half forward. Couldn't quite take the mark. Recovers out the back door to Trent Houghton. Is then claimed by Bolton. Bradley was in there. They'll go again. A chance now for Armat to clear. Penetrating hand pass by Schwass, who's forced to slap it forward. A high tackle on Nix is called play on. And so they do. To Barry on the outer side. Back to Schwass. He's running and running from 55 out to Goods in the pocket. 2 grabs. The second over the line. We've got a throw in.
Hume coming off, boys, and Mansfield will come on. Probably go forward.
Just got to grab those. In the context of this game, Carlton look like they're getting a little bit on top at the moment. Adam Goods has just got to take his opportunities when they present themselves.
Stevens towards Barry again. Ratton the intercept. Hume on the bench.
So Mansfield's taken Hume's place on Stewie Maxfield. Now, Stewie Maxfield's been particularly good, but that's a tough matchup. Mansfield's very good overhead.
The second quarter's tightened up considerably, just the 1 goal scored so far as Bradley gives it to Allen, who comes towards Mansfield. The former Cat looks towards Whitnall. The light chip launches himself, but he can't take the mark. Houghton through strongly, but without the football. Saddington tried to slap it further afield. Ratton's at the bottom. Could be gone, but there's already been a whistle. He was taken high.
Shoreville in trouble.
We've got a loose man because McKay's man is Hicks, and he went up to pick up Whitnall, which has allowed McKay to come up with a footy.
Here's McKay outside 50. Oh, Lappin went way too early. Dunkley was in front. Schäuble in trouble by the looks of it. Although he's up, and that's good news. Luff was off, Troy. Now to Armat. Finds a little bit of space to Barry. Leo's hand pass okay to Saddington. Back to Barry. Likes the left foot. Goes towards 50. They need a mark, and they've got it through O'Loughlin. He's got to really give them a spark up forward. Schäuble was crooked just seconds ago. He's lumbered down there and taken the mark, and his recovery powers could be complete if he can cap it off with a goal.
What an outstanding effort. He actually went for the mark back there over the top of Whitnell. I believe he just winded himself. Pretty good effort to pick himself up off the deck, push himself forward. And that's a good mark in the end. And he's already kicked 1 goal, Schäuble. It could be goal number 2.
"35 metres out. Distance not a problem. The boy who came from Xavier, played with Collingwood, and finishing up at Sydney has kicked his second.
Well, you would have thought that was a point, Roosie. There's not a lot of energy after a Swans goal out here. I know there's not a huge Swans representation, and they are at the other end of the ground. But even out on the field, I mean, you can understand Andrew Schäuble. He looks pretty crook, and in fact he's coming off the ground now, but the players around him didn't indicate as if it was a goal.
Look, Gerard, I thought it was a point sitting up here, and we had a good look at it behind. There was absolutely no emotion from the Sydney Swans boys whatsoever.
And this is what happened to Andrew Schäuble at the other end of the ground. He's gone up and come down heavily on the back of the head.
Had the old wind knocked out of the sails, I think.
And what a performance to get up, kicked a goal, and, well, he's off the ground temporarily. Saddington's gone forward for the Swans.
Allen tried to find Ratton. Instead, it's Mansfield. That's okay. Long kick out of the middle. One kick down to half forward. I think Hamill thought he might have got a free kick there for a push. Troy Luff had other ideas. Sydney swing it towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Crouch.
Well, Hamill back, but it looked as if Troy Luff was just maintaining his position.
To half forward. O'Connor on the ground, so look out. The big Mack truck will come through any moment now. Barry couldn't get clear. Saddington gets the hand pass out to Matthews. A diving mark is attempted by McKay. There's a Carlton boy down. Keep an eye on it, Gerard, as Koutafidis is away. Kicks towards right half forward.
It's back well, Sandy, but he is up in the hands of the Patronus, looking pretty crook.
Good news, at least he's up. Ratton finds Allen, holds it for a long time before giving it to Franchino. Down towards right half forward. Stafford. Luff. The tackling is fierce by both sides, as you would expect. These are desperate times, especially for Sydney. They've got to win today, but Lappin has the mark at half forward.
The story of this goal is not only the way the ball was won by the Blues, pretty desperate performance by a couple of players that were outnumbered, waiting until the cavalry arrived, but finally it was the kick of Lance Whitnell. With Jude Bolton, the loose player in the square, the shot at goal would have been a very poor percentage one. But now for Matthew Lappin after that kick, it's a high percentage.
40 metres out, directly in front.
It was a terrific effort by the Carlton boys on the far flank, Gerard. You did mention they were outnumbered, and probably outnumbered by at least 2 Sydney Swans players. They really threw themselves in, they battled, they tackled, they knocked the ball out, and it finally came out. On the end of it was, watch it here, Hamill's down on his knees. There's Nix, there's 3 Sydney Swans players there. Well done by Lance Whitnell, fantastic stuff. Just a real battling goal. And in the end, it was just a class kick from Lance Whitnell.
Favola now on, boys, and Backwell, as we see, we just see Backwell off there, as we're seeing Lubick cuss there, and Schäuble's up and running again, so that's good news.
Ratton's already had 7 possessions in this quarter, 14 for the game, so he's really on top at the moment. Here's another one.
He's picked up a hand pass there up towards Whitnell. Oh, beautifully done to McKay, and equally well tackled by Maxfield.
You mentioned tackling before Robbie Ahmet, Gerard. Yep. I tell you what, Stewie Maxfield's made 2 fantastic tackles in this quarter, and if any of the Sydney Swans want to look for a bit of motivation at the moment, Stewie Maxfield's pumped up there, out there at the moment. He's really playing with a lot of passion in his footy.
It's a great tackle. It was a goal-saving tackle.
Stafford coming off.
Stafford leaving the ground as play goes on in the centre now. Matthews in trouble. Wanted to turn in towards Goods. Instead, they've turned it over. Hamill's in the square. This should result in a goal. He may try and go all the way. He does try and go all the way.
Well, they blew that one because Brendan Favola effectively wanted to kick the goal himself. And he had, as you said, Sandy, Hamill in the square. A 40-metre kick would have sufficed. He tried to stretch himself and go for the goal with a 50-metre kick, and he just flummoxed it. So they're going with pace now, the Swans, with Stafford off the ground, and Goods will go into the ruck.
Barry towards centre wing. Lappin got a hand to it. Franchina, a little toe poke. Bolton continues to go. Coming back, and there'll be a free kick to be taken by Franchina.
But an important time in this match for both sides. The Blues look as if they're starting to mount their challenge. The Swans still just a little bit flat in areas, holding in because of the defence at this stage.
Speaking of flat, was a pretty flat-looking kick. Creswell, Luff and Co combining, popping it over the top. Look out, Crouch continues to surge it forward. Schwartz eventually leaves it for him. Bolton gets caught by Bradley. Saddington intercepts it, comes back to Crouch. Good play. Inside 50 goes Sydney. Manton set to chop it off, and he does.
Curtis breaking wide. If they get it to him, the ball will be in the goal square within seconds.
They found him. McKay's short. He'll go longer to Camporelli. Camporelli will look down towards Favola and Hamill.
Oh, what a let-off.
There was a let-off. Camporelli, great running from Camporelli. Started from the wing and ran all the way to the other wing. They just seem to be moving the ball a bit slicker at the moment, Carlton. And Silvani on ball. Silvani's got him covered, and that's been a bit of a problem for the Swans. They just haven't got a target up forward.
Nicks to Saddington, in towards the centre. Sweeping hand pass comes wide to Goods. Came from Fosdyke, who's on the ground, in towards full forward. O'Loughlin has got to beat a couple. Look at the fierce tackle. Beautifully done. A cry of ball, but it's Crouch who picks it up and snaps a goal. He's away to the left.
Yeah, terrific tackle from Jude Bolton, and maybe a tad unlucky. Let's have a look at it here. He's picked it up. One could argue there, Jared, he's had prior opportunity.
Yeah, line ball.
No, Tandy.
I think you've got to have prior opportunity to kick it, and he was only on his second step. But it was a great tackle by Bolton.
9.5 minutes left in the half. A big fly by Allen, all to no avail. Ratton again down towards half forward. The vice-like grip of Whitnell, too strong. He plays on. Favola's on the lead, and he's got it.
Well, it's been Whitnell all over. The story of the quarter is the one that's keeping Carlton in this match, and his individual performances in the last 5 minutes may well see the Blues extend their skinny lead.
It's a huge leap from Matty Allen there. Look at this kick on the left foot. He's a right footer, Lance Whitnell. Just put it out in front. There was just so much space there for Favola. Andrew Dunkley couldn't do a lot about that.
His accuracy this season has been very, very questionable. Let's see if he can do it okay. 12 goals, 14 prior to today. And again, there's a deathly silence, which seems rather strange, but it was off target. Another behind.
Just a beautiful kick from Whitnell. It's interesting, in the first quarter he played more as a half forward pushing up the ground. I think this quarter he's played as a traditional centre half forward, and that's where Lance Whitnell plays his best football. He's a very smart footballer and knows where to run as a centre half forward.
Well, the ball was tapped down by Luff indirectly, and Ratton tries to pick it up and spreads it out to Franchina. Favola over the top. He's trying to get the ball out, and finally he's been wrapped up by the Swans, but the umpire allows it to go on, which sees the ball cleared.
Out of bounds on the defensive 50. A desperate few moments for Sydney there. Tight second quarter.
We've made mention of the crowd a couple of times. A very quiet. There's no atmosphere at all. The crowd's very quiet at this stage.
Polite, I think, Roosie, aren't they, at the moment? But I'm sure things will warm up. Nick Fosdyke picking up another possession. Wide and out of Maxfield, who can go to the outer side. Swash running with him. Saddington tries to break, but he'll look even further towards O'Loughlin. Pushed down in front. Bolton takes the hand pass. O'Connor was screaming for it. Instead, they tumble it in towards half forward. Stevens was there. Manton also. McKay gives it away to Silvani. Carlton out of trouble to the outer side. Look out, here's Cooter, and the Blues are away. Kick has to be good for Franchina. If he can keep it in play, he'll just about get a shot. And there is another opportunity going for Carlton, as Franchina sensed that he had a real chance to go all the way.
Well, both sides are effectively playing similar brand of footy. They're flooding their back lines. And then when they break, it's really which side is going to be able to get the numbers at the ball forward, which will create goals. And a couple of times you've seen the Swans get it in and just not have the support.
Matthews crunched. Bradley, Koutafidis, delightful. Fletcher got a call out the back door and it's okay. It goes to Camporelli. Camporelli tumbling it in towards half forward. Allen takes the mark. Carlton just gaining the ascendancy in the last couple of moments. Where are the flyers? Whitnell and Favola. Creswell pushed it dangerously towards the goal and eventually taken over the line for a throw-in by Nick Fosdyke.
You're hitting the nail on the head there, Gerard. It's an interesting game. It's a tough game for forwards at the moment because both teams do seem to have a loose man in defence every time they go forward. So there's not a lot of space for the key forwards to move into.
Chance for Maxfield. He heads to the outer side. Ball gets a B-grade bounce. Stevens tries to sneak away from Fletcher. He's successful. In towards half forward. Ahmat came out like a raging bull. His hand pass is partly smothered. Well done by Freeborn. Well done indeed as he kicks it back towards the centre. And a timely mark is taken by Leo Barry. No one able to break free at the moment. Neither side giving an inch as Creswell's kick finds big Ryan O'Connor. He's almost down to right half forward. Kicks in towards ball. That's his target in the pocket. Manton off to Koutafidis. Freeborn. Silvani may have had the wind taken out of his sails too. Camporelli under the pump. Mansfield on the last line of defence. Held it for a long time. By gee, they can't get out of this one. Nix in towards full forward. Allen needs a kindly bounce. O'Loughlin beautifully. Schwartz a chance. Definitely.
Missed.
Silvani in the hands of the trainers, but he appears to be okay.
Once again, we see Matthew Allen just clogging up the hole there. As we see Ball, he's just got his arm over the shoulder, but Silvani does get away with it all the time. But we see Matty Allen just dropping back in the hole just after that as well. So they always are getting numbers back, Carlton.
Camporelli to the outer side. 5 points the margin. 5 3/4 minutes remaining. Andrew McKay had a blistering first term. He kicks it in towards Koutafidis. These were the two who were dynamic last week. In my hat, they're continuing on that form. Towards Whitnell. Big pack of players. Schäuble the spoiler. Luff tried to poke it wide. Here's Favola. 40 metres out. Brendan.
And good news for the Swans fans too. Andrew Schäuble back on the ground. And as Gerard mentioned, Whitnell's been critical this quarter. So the Swans fans will be pleased that Schäuble's back on Whitnell. And hopefully for the Swans' sake, he can curtail Whitnell's influence.
One out of bounds for Favola and one behind. Takes him to 12 goals, 15 for the season. Luff leaves it for Bolton.
This is a bloke that has to lift for Sydney. Just 6 kicks at the moment.
Yep, he's got a chance now. Schwartz, he'd prefer to be on the other side. He'll just chip short. That's okay. Ahmat will have a shot.
Saddington keeps going. He'll run into it.
It's a good decision there by Wayne Schwartz, though. He was running onto his wrong foot, Sandy, as you called it. So if he had had a shot, probably would have sprayed it wide. Good decision to kick it to Robbie Ahmat.
Who will hopefully convert for Sydney, but no, he kicks into the man on the mark. Stevens bends it back, and he converts for Sydney. John Stevens gets his first.
Sometimes you pay for your mistakes, Rosie, and other times you don't.
Well, I tell you what, they certainly made hard work of that, didn't they? Wayne Schwartz, as I said, I thought did the right thing, kicking it to Robbie Ahmat, but this is just a cardinal sin in football, isn't it? You've just got to give yourself room, and in that case, you're only 20 metres out. Go back as far as you can, but more importantly, make a point with the umpire to find out where the mark is before you actually take your kick, and that should never happen in football in 2000.
So now the scores are level again after John Stevens has made up for a costly error by Robbie Ahmat. And Goods is into the ruck, but Matthew Allen does a great job. Koutafidis also in the centre, gets it back to Allen, who puts it onto Camporelli from 50 metres out. Just lets one roll through for another goal to the Blues.
Yeah, well done. That combination in the centre of the ground. Matty Allen And Koutafidis last week had 7 centre takeaways, and that is a lethal combination in the centre bounce. One thing that Adam Goodes will find difficult is the centre bounces. Allen's probably 2 or 3 inches taller than him, but Koutafidis is very good with his quick hands, and we all know what a good finisher Camperoli is, and that is a good finish from there. Just inside 50, and Carlton go up to a 1-goal break.
They just seem at the moment, Roosie, to be getting their goals a little easier than Sydney. Sydney having to work very, very hard.
Yeah, that's a good point. We saw, I guess that was an indication, Robbie Armour kicking into the man of the mark and Johnny Stevens having to screw one over his shoulder.
Goodes. Bolton to right half forward. Let's see if they can do it maybe a little easier this time. Down towards Saddington and Manton, the 222s. Ball, a fresh air shot. Silvani gets it out towards Manton, who gives it away to Mansfield. Back towards Hickmott and co. Koutafidis waiting down to do the roving work. Pounces on it now and locks up Bolton. Nick's there as well, and there will be a ball up on centre wing.
Mansfield now has gone back to the back line. He did start on the forward line. Also, Freeborn now move into the middle of the ground on Stevens.
What a weapon Koutafidis is, though. I mean, he's had 15 possessions. You can throw him down back where he started. You can throw him up forward. And he's also got the aerobic capacity to play in the midfield.
Goodes showing his athletic prowess and a good second effort by him. Allen also very effective. Freeborn tries to soccer off the ground back towards Ratton. Needs someone going past. Well, he had a couple. Eventually finds McKay. Camperoli, danger here again. Look out, Robbie Armour, it's just about got you. He applied the pressure, but he got the kick. Hamill couldn't take it cleanly. Schwass can't get clear. Great tackle. Ahmad again towards the line. Kept in play by Hamill, but only for a moment in front of the small scoreboard here at Optus.
That's the way that Goodes should be playing too, Roosie. He's the same ability as Koutafidis.
Yeah, good point, Dipper. Certainly athletic-wise, he can match it with him, and maybe that's a matchup. Just, I know he's in the ruck at the moment. Maybe the matchup is to let Goodes just follow Koutafidis all over the ground.
Well, he's got the free kick here for a push out. Jason Ball really not providing much for the Swans. I wonder whether he shouldn't just have a run in the ruck, and Adam Goodes would certainly be a far more difficult opponent to match up on for Sauce.
Hickmott. Allen could be a flyer here. Instead waits at the back and doesn't. Saddington defends. Oh, dangerous! Very, very dangerous!
Well, I'm sure if we get a chance to see that again, Darren Creswell did not know there was a Carlton player inside. Or if he did, it was a pretty poor effort because he just sort of seemed to lumber towards, I think Jason Saddington, for a start, if you watch Jason Saddington, he should have taken the mark. And ball goes to ground, makes the right decision here, I believe, tries to get it through the guys. But watch Darren Creswell here. We probably just obviously didn't know that Favola was there because he certainly could have got there before Favola.
Jason Saddington just unable to get that rotten-shaped ball to bounce the right way. Instead, it spun and stayed in play to Carlton's advantage. It's another goal. So the Blues sneak away to a 2-goal break. Freeborn's kick smothered. McKay lending good support. Wider to Franchina. Carlton doing well in the closing stages of the first half. Luff spoils Hamill. They're not out of the danger zone yet. Freeborn again. What's he done? Oh, he's kicked day behind.
Luff versus Hamill's been a good contest. I think Troy Luff's done a particularly good job. As we mentioned earlier on, Aaron Hamill is in particularly good form. So Troy Luff can hold his head up pretty high at this stage of the game.
Just going back to Jason Saddington, he's been a player of very good quality in his early years for the Swans and promised a lot, but you get the feeling that if he's to take the next level, take the next step as a player, he's got to get stronger with his hands. He just tends to drop too many of those balls that are must-takes.
Whitnell elects not to fly, leaves his man, takes the mark and gives it to Beaumont. Now he's a big left-footer normally. He chips it a la a 9-iron, puts Franchina under the pump. Bolton can clear and does for Sydney, but Manton read it pretty well. Glenn Manton.
Gone.
He's a fascinating player.
Well, that's going to be prior opportunity, I would have thought. That's just held on to the ball far too long. They had 3 or 4 Carlton players to give it to.
Might have been calling it something different in the Carlton box.
Just the centre clearances too. Carlton 5 this quarter to Sydney's 1, and overall it's been 10-5.
Down the ground, Roosie, I'm sorry. Crouch was to take it, but John Stevens was interfered with, and he's got the free kick. Pokes Sydney inside 50, and Goodes will be hoping to cut this lead back with just 1 minute 20 seconds remaining in the half.
And that's Dipper if you're down there. That's what Adam Goodes needs to do, and you mentioned that before. He is a very athletic player. He needs to push forward and put some pressure on the Carlton team.
Yeah, spot on there, Ruzi. The ball coming off, Gerard.
Yeah, well, I think the future for Jason Bull in this game may well lie in the midfield as a ruckman, just interchanging with Stafford, because I think for the Swans to win, I think this bloke on screen is going to have to do the work up forward.
12 goals, 6 so far this season. Away to the left, another behind. 12-7.
And now the Stafford's back on, Jerry. You're probably going to the ruck, and Koutafidis and Goodes is the matchup.
And Glenn Manton coming from the ground, Dipper.
I wonder why.
Can you just check with him what he was doing that last piece of play, Dipper?
Hey, Glenn, what were you doing?
I don't reckon he'll tell you. McKay, first one way, then the other to Rice on the outer side. Dean is clear and does it well.
And effectively, that now is one of the essential keys to football. Just kicking the ball from side to side in the back line, waiting until you get someone free to get it up uncontested into your forward line, as we see Craig Bradley about to do.
The 36-year-old running machine, spearing it in to Fafita, who may have the last kick of the half.
Well, there's very few contests now through the middle of the ground comparatively with the game 5-10 years ago, let alone a couple of decades ago. Now, the only time, or the most times you see contests are within 30 or 40 metres of the goal, such as the dexterity of sides, getting players free and moving the ball on without an interception.
Favola for his second. Tight angle. Oh, they've got to work on his accuracy.
I think the other thing on that too, Jerry, is that the tagger has gone out of the game, hasn't it? True, genuine tagger. We see Ratton with 11, Camporelli with 10, and Koutafidis with 9. The genuine tagger's really gone out of football in the last probably 2 years.
And they were just for 1/4 of football.
Andrew Dunkley, by the way, their boys, just perhaps giving Favola a couple of tips on straight kicking. And who better than Andrew
Yes.
Dunkley to do exactly that?
Super boot.
Good first half, though. Tight first half. Carlton appearing to gain the ascendancy late in that second quarter with goals from Lappin, Camporelli and Favola. Sydney, on the other hand, struggled in that second quarter with John Stevens and Andrew Schäuble both getting goals. So it's a 2-goal lead to Carlton at half-time, with David Parkin in game number 501. See his side having scored 8-6, leading Sydney 6-6. So here we go, the second half here at Optus. Carlton is unbeaten on this ground so far this year. 3 games and 3 wins. Bolton out of the centre for Sydney, but gathering very little distance, and Beaumont takes a diving mark. Goes wider to Koutafidis. Enjoying a lovely period at the moment. Koutafidis kicks towards half forward. Luff was the attempted spoiler at the back. Now he's going to need support to tie it up. Oh, Creswell's given it to Mansfield. Mansfield's kicked towards full forward, and luckily for Sydney, Dunkley was on the last line of defence. Gee, almost a very costly start, Ruzi.
I guess that's a tough one there, isn't it? I mean, does he fall on the ball and drag it back in, and perhaps he gives a free kick? He knocks it out. It's picked up by a Carlton player, and probably Mansfield could have kicked it to Whitnell, who was open by himself in front of goal.
Matthews and Luff combining on that outer side, but it's Camporelli who will chop it off to Koutafidis. Now Fletcher. Wobbly little punt kick towards Ratton, who's ridden into the ground. Camporelli didn't appear to have the football. Umpire Wen appears to have lost his whistle for the moment. And eventually he comes in as a bemused Darren Creswell looks to the heavens.
I'll just give you the benches, Sandy. Backwell, Hickmott, Manton, Hume, O'Connor, Fitzgerald, Stevens and Kirk for the Swans.
Thank you, Dipper. Sydney desperate for the first goal here to just keep them in touch. Crouch takes it up towards half forward. Ball came out, but Silvani was the effective spoiler. The fullback of the century locks it up almost in the middle of the ground. Now gets it out. Mansfield working hard at the bottom of the pack. Rice awaits his opportunity. Silvani in strongly on Schwarzenko. And another bounce.
I think it's incumbent upon the umpires to see a dead ball situation and blow their whistle rather than just allowing somebody to get poleaxed because he's hovering over the ball and not prepared to pick it up. The rule has its limitations, and it's up to the umpire to ruled properly.
Ratton to Lappin is good football. Favola on all fours dropped what he probably should have taken. Lappin will try and send them into attack again. Gives it to McKay. Tried to shrug the tackle but got pinged. Koutafidis had his legs taken out from underneath him. Heads towards the line. Favola is there. Slapping it forward to accommodate Lappin. Tucked right on the line. He gains valuable metres. Lappin kicked a goal in the first quarter and one in the second. As we just turn back the clock to watch this attempted mark by Brendan Favola.
And Dipper mentioned about him having to kick goals, and he's also got to take those marks as well.
Allen trying to do it over the back. Flicked wide towards Whitnell, and he takes the mark. Big Lance Whitnell towards Allen. Saddington comes in from the side and does it well. The left hand pass. Bradley intercepts. He might make him pay, but another speedster's right on his hammer, that being Wayne Schwass, and he takes him to the line.
Just turned his back there, Wayne Schwass, on Troy Luff. I don't think he was expecting the handball, and Troy Luff nearly hit him in the back of the head with that footy.
Some feeling out being done early in this second half by both sides. The Luff hand pass again into the open spaces. Hamill, beautifully done. Franchina, centering little chip by Franchina is good as McKay intercepts. And the defender is going to go back and try and kick a goal. He hasn't kicked a lot in his career, just 25, and he won't add to it now as he gives it to Camporelli, and he kicks the goal.
Well, we've seen a number of defenders kicking goals so far. We saw Schauble in the first half kicking 2 goals. It's been that kind of game so far. There really hasn't been a lot of positional play where guys have been in one position. Andy McKay, who playing on the half-back flank basically, but he's brought himself down the ground. Probably shouldn't have played on there and kicked across to Camporelli, but I guess if you've got a player as good as Camporelli and as good a finisher, why not give it to him? And that's a pretty handy goal for Carlton.
Just the start the Blues need, giving them a 3-goal break in this second half. Stafford got a hand to it. Socket off the ground, out of the arms of Mansfield as Silvani charges clear, and he does it very well, giving it towards Franchina, who goes to freeboard. Look out! Nix and Mansfield almost clash. A chance maybe for Sydney to take advantage of an error. Maxfield towards Nix. Waiting down Silvani. Fletcher did well to McKay. He goes off to Mansfield. The Carlton defence is standing firm. Watch out for Kuda. I'll just do it with the one hand, he says, for that one. Lappin, nice little party trick. Back to Koutafidis. Sensational play. Sensational.
Well, it's just unfair having Koutafidis out there, Jared. Yeah. I think they've got to even it up and take him off the ground. He's done that. Well, let's just watch it here. I'm not even going to go with 2 hands. I'll just go with 1, and I'll take this mark. I'll actually handball it off, and then I'll run and get it and kick a goal.
Yeah, he's doing it all at the moment, Bruce, and I guess the problem at the moment for the game's competitive side is that the floodgates just appear to have been unloosened. And unless the Swans can get a bit of system going through the middle of the ground, then this could be a very damaging turn.
The biggest lead in the game so far, enjoyed by Carlton. It's a 4-goal break. Stafford is beaten by Allen. They desperately need the next couple. Fletcher will defend and does so rather well, giving it off to Houghton, who gives it to Silvani, off to Beaumont. Lappin breaks, but he elects to go longer towards Ratton. O'Loughlin is with him. Almost stolen. Instead, it's Ratton who did the stealing. Down towards Favola and co. Hamill is there as well. Overrun, and it's Luff who sockers off the ground. Now the race is on. Freeborn leads in that race. Keeps it inboard towards Koutafidis. Can't get a run at initially, Kuda. Here he goes. Look at that. Fletcher, a chance. Hugging the boundary line in towards Allen, and Carlton are threatening here at Optus to blow this game apart. Had a couple of options short, and he elects to go in towards half forward. Ratton, initially legged, gets clear. Kicks in towards full forward, but is sadly away to the right. Under pressure as he took the kick. See, Sydney defence is under pressure.
Yeah, they certainly are. And Jason Saddington's got the job on Anthony Kurtafidis, so he really needs to tighten up. It is a particularly hard job because Kurtafidis is such a good athlete, but just close him down. And if he's going to get the football, don't give him easy possessions.
Allen, Dunkley, Kurtafidis.
Can I just say one thing? He's on fire. He's unbelievable.
Tell you what, it's a privilege here to be watching this afternoon, to be seeing him in action. Whitnell lapping a little 360. He might even kick this. He bends it round and it's marked by Franchina. Right on the line. This could be somewhat of a spirit breaker if he kicks this. Maxwell trying to stop him from running out. He'll gain a little, and he'll kick a goal. Oh, dear, dear, dear.
Well, Carlton kicked the last 5 goals of the game. And, Gerard, you mentioned the floodgates were just creeping open. And this is the area the Swans have had problems over the last 4 weeks, is when the game changed a little bit and Kurtafidis has taken over, they haven't really had that player that's, to step up, the Paul Kelly, the Tony Lockett type player that can maybe stem the flow a little bit. And they've really had trouble changing their own game plan. And it'll be interesting now to see how they react.
Carlton have kicked the last 5. Allen goes it again. Creswell. And one hand held, but Kurtafidis. What more can you say about this at the moment? It's just sensational to watch. He's got Whitnell, but he's a long way out as the big Lance. Ratton will have a shot.
Ryan O'Connor now being asked to come on the ground as Stafford's coming off.
Now this game, this quarter's what, 8 minutes, and Kurta's had 7 possessions in 8 minutes.
Fantastic. Ratton directly in front, kicking from 40 metres. They've got another one. Ratton has his first. Carlton continue on their merry way.
You see there Darren Creswell looking for the free kick, for the poke in the eye. Just having a look at the amount of Swans players, Sandy, that haven't touched the footy in this term. There's a lot of black spaces on the stat sheet.
And most of them are the forwards, aren't they?
What an extraordinary few minutes we've seen here at Optus. Carlton have raced away with 4 goals. And they don't look like stopping either as Beaumont belts them out in the centre again. Up towards half forward. Look at this, Hamill. They're all getting in on the action.
It's just the centre clearances at the moment, Gerard, really just killing them out of the middle, Carlton.
Well, this game was, just from an observer's point of view, very flat in the first half. It looked as if both sides were really struggling despite themselves. The crowd weren't involved. They weren't pumped up in any way, shape or form. But since half-time, Carlton have come out and really injected some life into their play forward of the centre.
This to make it a 7-goal lead from 40 metres. Another poster.
Darren Creswell coming from the ground, Dipper.
And Ryan Fitzgerald looks like he's coming on. Rodney Eade is probably thinking, what am I going to do? Inside 50, Carlton 11 this quarter to Sydney 1, so they really haven't even got it forward to the centre. They've absolutely dominated the game through the centre of the ground, out of the centre bounces.
Schwass brings it back in. Lovely looking kick. Houghton flies from behind. Camporelli claims. So too was Bolton. Back towards the centre. Allen. Big man unable to take it cleanly. Saddington tries to shovel it clear. Not effective. And it is locked up with O'Connor battling for it down there with Beaumont. Sun comes out. But there's not a lot of sunshine for Sydney at the moment. Ball up on the outer side. O'Connor gets himself front spot. The Camporelli tackling has been very good. Bradley on the end of it. bending it round towards Whitnell on left half forward. He sees it over the line with Andrew Schäuble. And Creswell still having a problem perhaps after copping that poke in the eye. O'Connor, Allen, won by the latter. Goods almost runs into his teammate there in Brett Kirk. Mansfield usually penetrating with his kicks. Taken to ground, gets the kick down towards full forward. Dunkley chops it off.
Well, it must have been awfully close to a kick down the ground.
Carlton fans think it was more than awfully close. Kirk takes the mark.
Just awful.
Captain Kirk towards centre wing. Sydney desperately trying to find something as Maxfield gets it down to half forward. It's taken by Silvani. Here comes Maxfield late again on Whitnell. He gets it off to Hott. Another one to Bradley. Wider to Fletcher. Look out. Quickly over to Lappin. This is good play. Freemore comes onto the left foot. Kicks them inside 50. Hamill couldn't quite take the one-hander. Look at the recovery of Hamill. He's lost it now, but he did very well. Schäuble pops it over the top to accommodate Dunkley. He's claimed. Allen chases. O'Connor chases him. Hamill gives him the call. Aaron Hamill deserves a goal here. He goes onto the left foot and he centres it to Lappin. And it's very, very good play.
Yeah, great stuff. Second efforts, third efforts from Aaron Hamill. Could have almost snared a one-hander, but it slipped out. He was on his hands and knees, but he got up and got himself back in the contest. And then on a third occasion, pushed over to set this one up for young Lappin.
Difference is at the moment the Sydney Swans just haven't got a target up forward. The bigger players in particularly Ball just haven't been able to get into the game. Leo Barry. As the ball hits the post there.
Taking a pounding, that post.
Some wood today.
Could have been the nail in the coffin, that one too. But just going forward, the Swans, that's the difference. I mean, Aaron Hamill just putting in a very good effort and really one out. A lot of the Swans players down their forward line haven't been one out at all this game. They've really got some defenders back. Carlton.
Matthews marks the kick in the back pocket.
I think at this stage, though, Ruzi, the Swans would be just pleased to get the ball inside 50.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Schäuble at halfback. Thought about Schwartz. The confidence you can see seeping from this Sydney outfit at the moment. Goods was one of the flyers. Rice waits down, but he was well claimed. Whitnell got the call from Houghton. Almost got there. Kirk pounces on it with him. And we've got another bounce. Sydney in this term have not scored.
14 inside 50s to Carlton and 2 to Sydney. So you're right, Gerard. They just want to get it inside 50.
Ratton towards half forward. Freeborn picking up plenty. Koutoufides. He was the one. He ignited the flame at the start of this third quarter in particular. And after that huge wrap, he's given off a disappointing kick. But he's been absolutely sensational as Nix goes to the outer side. The sun is proving somewhat of a problem for a number of players. Luff leads Fletcher, and he gets his kick just in time. Down towards right half forward, and the diving mark is taken by Ryan Fitzgerald.
Well, you'd have to pay credit, I think, to Troy Luff, who has been one of the players for the Swans to have pushed and pushed for the entire match so far. And good to see Ryan Fitzgerald getting an opportunity.
Tight angle and 55 out. It'll require a great kick, and it is a very good kick. McKay defends. Short to Bradley, back to McKay. The two South Australians combining. Is another one. Camporelli down to half back, looking in towards the centre. Clean bowls a couple. Almost 2 or 3, in fact. Not Franchina, though. Just pops it over the top. Rice going with the flight of the ball. Takes a timely mark. Look at them streaming down the ground. Into full forward. And Lappin takes the mark, arrogantly plays on and gives it to Beaumont. And he will kick the goal. And that is too easy.
Well, too easy, Sandy. I think you called it there. That is, I guess, in Carlton parley, champagne football, but just
what is
far
it in
too...
Swans parlance?
Well, I think Sandy mentioned it's just far too easy. Coming out of defence there, coming out of the Carlton defence. And you mentioned also that runners everywhere. Carlton had runners coming out of the back pocket, coming off half-back, coming off the wing. And the Swans at the moment just aren't being prepared to pick up their man. Just go one-on-one at this stage and just hold the ball in if you can.
Beaumont's done a job with that ball, hasn't he?
I reckon Cooter could get that. He's going so well.
Just with the reach up with the one hand. Well, what a quarter of football. And there's still 8 minutes remaining. Carlton have booted 5 unanswered goals. Sydney have been stopped dead in their tracks on 6-6. O'Connor doing the ruck work. Taken out of the middle by Bolton. Down towards Fitzgerald. Pushed out of his arms. Bradley. Will this man ever stop? I doubt it. Just inside 50 for Sydney. Rice. The Carlton boys are so hungry for it. They're taking on each other. Freeborn, beautifully done. Koutafidis, Camporelli, away we go again. Down towards half forward. Oh, golly. Now, Brendan, you are due to kick a goal. Let's see what you can do.
What about the quick hands of the Carlton players down back? At centre-half back there, I reckon there was 5 or 6 handballs, all within the space of about 5 square metres, ending up with Camporelli once again being prepared to run and push forward and deliver it to Brendan Favola.
You might try and get a replay of that very moment, Roosie, because the pressure coming from the Swans players around him wasn't good, to say the least.
Gee, you can't crack it, can he, Favola? I mean, all these players would have dearly loved to have seen him finish it off, because this is one of the passages of play of the day.
That is just incredible quick hands, but you're right, Jerry. I don't think a Sydney Swans player laid a glove on a Carlton player then.
Too many people standing flat-footed around a loose ball.
So another behind goes on the board. And the roar, of course, is for Cooter. Another mark gives it off to Ratton. They're toying with the opposition at the moment. Whitnell's at the back.
Hamill.
It doesn't have to go to him. No mark is paid. Favola has another go. Freeborn has a go. The Sydney defence are trying their absolute hearts out to keep it out of the danger zone. It's not out of it yet as Mansfield keeps it in play. Somehow gives it to Franchina. He dodges and twists. He shoots in towards the centering forward zone. The mark not taken by Hamill. He's quick to recover. Loses it now. O'Loughlin, the hand pass is okay. But they are desperate. And look at that kick. It was almost a tired kick from Goods that finds Mansfield. Too far out to score, but here come the Flyers. The big guns are there. And the biggest gun of all has taken the mark in Cooter.
I'm going to make a big statement. This is probably the best quarter of football individually I've seen in the last 36 years. I'm 36.
Well, Roosie, you've been playing for 36 years, mate. We've seen Cooter this a few times now.
He's having a real purple patch in his career. Back to his scintillating best in recent weeks.
Deserves to cap it off with a goal. He does. That's a big statement, Roosie. I'm just trying to think too of some of the matches you would have seen. And
I think he's had this quarter 5 marks, 10 possessions, and we've still got about 6 minutes to go in the quarter. So he could end up with 15 possessions for a quarter. And the way he's doing it, jumping, picking it up off the ground, delivering it, running on, absolutely every skill in the game at the moment. A fantastic performance.
Two goals to Anthony Koutafidis, and well, Rocket can't do much. Not a lot of food about, so a nibble on the phone. Maybe that'll produce something. However, out of the middle, Sydney forward through Nick Fosdyke. Down towards Fitzgerald. Houghton leads in the race for the ball and will be more than happy to push it towards the line. In fact, keeps it in play. Look at Bradley's swoop on that. Playing like a teenager is the 36-year-old. Couldn't find Silvani on that occasion. And there'll be a throw-in. Well, talk about busting a game wide open. Carlton and Koutafidis have done that. But Cooter was in fantastic form last week. Let's remember that, so it's just continuing on. McKay's hand pass okay. Finishes up with Fletcher. Fletcher's kicked down towards the middle of the ground, and it's Schäuble who chops it off. He's got Maxfield screaming for it short. Takes to the left footer now. Pokes it up towards right half forward. Goods gets an awful bounce. Bolton Can't pick it up, has to go again. He's going to lose this. He did slap it out, and his teammates come in quickly to help him. One is Fosdyke, in towards half forward. Hot and two for underneath. Nix wobbles it to full forward. Oh, was it touched? Just.
That's the big fella, just couldn't quite get down low enough there. Let's just see it creep underneath the fingernails here.
It's almost like a goalkeeper in an FA Cup final.
And he knew he didn't get a touch, did he? Because he dashed back. Oh, golly.
Adam Good's off the ground on the phone at the moment.
Kudafides marks. What are his stats for the quarter, Ruzi? Just get them for me, would you, as we watch Kudafides kick towards right half forward.
He's had 7 marks and 12 possessions this quarter.
Shit. Well, that's a goal Logie's Logie night tonight, isn't it?
2 goals.
You just worry about your hair, Dipper.
That is a wonderful performance, no doubt about that. McKay. Also busy. Had a great start to the game with 10 possessions in the first quarter, Andy McKay. Camporelli, no slouch either. Oh, beautiful. He spotted Beaumont and he just passed it with absolute precision.
I'm not too sure what you can do here to stop the bleeding. Carlton are absolutely on fire. Camporelli, and the use of the ball in this quarter has been outstanding. They struggled a little bit with the foot skills and the hand skills in the first half, but certainly they're really on song at the moment.
Beaumont for his second for the quarter. Kicking from 47 metres. The one-way traffic continues. Seven goals for the quarter. Sydney has one behind.
It's just one of those performances by the Swans where they're going to, I guess, react in a fashion that we all have had to over the years, and that's just try and put it behind it, because this has been a deplorable term. Nothing going right for them. The Blues showing them how to do it.
Kudafides 2 this quarter, Beaumont 2 this quarter, Camporelli 2 for the match. Principal goal kickers for Carlton. Kudafides, yet another possession. Off he goes to Bradley, now Camporelli. Oh, gee, you feel as if you've been calling them for weeks. Up towards the 50 and Whitnell. Beaten, but look at the scouting done by Freeborn. Beautiful smother by Bolton. He has tried his guts out. Bolton back towards the centre wing. Getting underneath it and taking a timely mark is Mansfield.
He's finding some form too, Sandy.
Yeah, he'd be pleased. He was a late inclusion coming back into this side this week. He'd be rapt to get the chance. Nelson not coming up. Favola, as Carlton fans close their eyes, what will he do? It's a centering kick, and it's a good-looking kick too. In towards full forward. Crouch tries to get away, and he does at the last minute. The race is on. Camporelli and Bradley, the two Carlton boys, will lead, but they'll run out of room on that outer side in front of the small scoreboard that shows Carlton 15-9, leading Sydney 6 goals 7.
It's interesting in the modern football now with 3 umpires. In the old days, a run-on like this, they'd start a melee or something like that. But really, Gerard, I don't know whether there's much you can do when a team's playing like this and the other team's playing so poorly.
Particularly with the amount of cameras that you've got at your disposal, Ruzi. I mean, well, if the umpire don't get you, the video man will.
But the melees in the old days didn't cost the club $10,000 or $20,000.
True.
And they were melees.
You started them, Dipper.
David Parkin.
Game number 501 for David Parkin. He was honoured at the start of today's game with a plaque as he joins the 500 club. Did that last week, and this is 21st year of coaching. It's just been, as they said in that presentation, one of the game's icons. Bradley towards the centre. Mansfield very quick to recover. He'll be enjoying this, getting back into it. It's taken a while. Barry loses it to the line. Another throw-in takes place. 1 minute and 3/4. And Sydney will gather as a group and try and come to terms with what lies ahead and what has gone past. This has been a wonderful quarter of football for Carlton. And especially as Fosdyke's kick finds the line, Anthony Kudafides.
Well, the Swans looked dangerous in the first quarter, and at times in the second term. It was Lance Whitnell, I think, that really kept them going the Blues, but the Swans at halftime just hadn't done enough with the amount of football that they had in their forward zone. And they've allowed the Blues on their home dung heap to just build and build and build in confidence.
Maxfield's kick towards Fitzgerald at centre wing. Rice, look, he's got a number of players waiting out the back. Mansfield and Bradley are two of those players. Braddle's kick up towards half forward, towards Koutafidis. Got a hand to it, but that was all as Dunkley clears to the outer side. A chance here for Armat. In the dying seconds of this third quarter, kicks in towards Fitzgerald, chopped off by Rice. He steadies, looks in towards the centre. Again, Carlton have the numbers, but they also get a cruel bounce. Maxfield pokes it high towards Troy Luff. Courage shown by McKay. And the veterinary scientist takes it well. Kicks towards Freeborn, who lost it in the sunshine. Matthews tidies up. Gives it off to Saddington. Pokes it in towards Fosdyke. Fosdyke further afield to Armat. Kick a goal, Robbie Armat, with 46 metres in front of you, and he has. It's taken all but 34 seconds of the quarter to score their first for the team.
Well, to say it was a badly needed goal is a bit of an understatement. But I guess, you know, if you look for if you look for a positive, I suppose they really need to just keep in touch. It's certainly a long shot to actually win the game. Percentage is a big thing at the end of the season if you want to play in the finals. And one thing that the Swans have done over the last 4 weeks is kept the games close. But they really can't afford to have a blowout because percentage can drop enormously, and at the end of the year can cost you a lot in where you finish on the ladder.
34 seconds remaining. 50 points the margin. The Schwass hand pass is okay to Crouch. Bradley will probably be first to this again. As quick as ever and under no pressure. He's got time to steady as the umpire slips. Still managed to recover well. Notice the Camberelli mark and get the whistle to the mouth. Towards Whitnall. Had to beat a couple. Koutafidis, the hand pass okay to Hamill. Hamill gives a little ground here to Franchina. Still a little way up. He shoots towards goal. It's in the air, but it's away to the left and it's a behind. And listen to the Carlton faithful give their side, and in particular Koutafidis, a standing ovation. It was a quarter they'll remember for a long, long time. An outstanding individual performance by Koutafidis. 7 kicks, 7 hand passes, 7 marks, 2 goals to Kouta. Carlton are on their way. 15-10. Sydney in trouble at 7-7. Final quarter. Can Sydney hold Carlton? Can they put some respectability onto this scoreboard, which has seen them blown out of the water in the third term? Tough call. Next week they're at home. They'll be, well, maybe they'll be pleased about that. They've lost 8 of their last 11. And they've got Port Adelaide and the Western Bulldogs and Geelong all at home in the next 3 weeks. So they'll be hoping fortunes to turn as Camperelli kicks it high in towards Favola again, but out-bustled by Dunkley, who produced good use of the body. Dunk's kick always tends to leave the old heart in the mouth. Koutafidis' absolute strength and skill. We're seeing them both on show here at the moment. A centering ball. He wanted Hamill just a little too far, and he has in fact given away the free kick. The advantage is going to be paid. It's Maxfield on the outer side. Stuart Maxfield looks up towards left half forward. Ball goes to ground. Silvani maintains his stats and he fires it out to Rice, who in turn finds Whitnall. Still a long way from home. A worm-burning pass into Brendan Favola. Couldn't take it cleanly. Hamill goes again. Favola is still there. Dunkley caught one high. Play on, they say. And so they do. Sydney out of it through Kirk. The captain's kick goes up towards Barry, who gives it to Maxfield. Maxfield looks towards half forward, up towards the 50. Adam Good strangely quiet today. Beaumont somehow got a boot to it. Fletcher's hand pass is okay to the veteran Silvani. To McKay. The old firm, and what a firm it is, towards Whitnall. Who's going to be first up? Camperelli I'm suggesting he'll kick this goal. If that wretched-shaped ball will sit up for him, he might just do it. One behind.
You mentioned McKay and Camporelli. The Swans have really had trouble putting the clampers on any of the key players for Sydney. Sorry, for Carlton. 25 possessions, 26 to Ratton, 26 to McKay. So yeah, they're just getting far too much of the football.
Well, you did say that the legitimate tag has gone out of the game, Paul. When you come into a match with those sort of players that can do wreak the damage they can when they get the footy, it's difficult to, I guess, justify not having somebody right up their jumper.
The hand pass is shot out towards Saddington. Puts it in front of Creswell. Just pokes it out of the fingers of Ratton. Creswell gets clear and wobbles an ugly punt towards half forward. A snap by Nix is off target and away to the right.
I think the thing that would be concerning Rodney Eade more than anything is this lack of energy that we spoke about in the first quarter when the Swans kicked a goal, and yet very little response to Andrew Schauble when it went through. It was a well-earned goal. It was full of spirit and fight, and yet it produced little response from his teammates. And I think that if you're playing without energy, it's difficult to win any footy match at any level.
Hamill was the flyer. Bradley taken to ground. Did get rid of the ball, however. Riding the bump was Creswell. Gives it to Saddington. Pokes it in towards half forward. Lappin pushes down to Koutafidis. What a hand pass by Koutafidis. Off to Mansfield, off to Rice, and away they go again. Towards the Lightship, who's almost down to the 50. Lappin is right there with him. Whitnell goes again, but it's Matthews who's clear. He finds Maxfield, who will look towards Troy Luff maybe on the outer side. In fact, goes over his head into the wide open spaces near the 50. Houghton will be more than happy to take it over the top to Beaumont, and he does. Beaumont kicks back towards centre wing. Carlton again have the numbers. Lappin taken to ground. Franchina comes in to assist. Slapped out by Silvani. Only as far as Bolton. Gee, he's been one of Sydney's best today. He's tried his heart out, but how do you stop this man? Koutafidis, another mark, off to McKay and Bradley. There they are. The famous trio at Optus Oval. Whitnell. Bradley again. What are his stats, Roosie? He's picked up plenty, hasn't he? Mansfield. Up over the centre.
And Bradley with 19 possessions. He's really, first quarter I thought he was quiet, but his last two quarters have been very good.
Yep. But the sting has certainly gone out of this game. Schwartz, a big fly from behind, takes a fine mark. I think a number of people are still in a state of shock after that third quarter of Carlton's. Schwartz goes short to Saddington.
Well, this is where they've had trouble. Carlton have got their numbers back to block it up. And once again, they've done exactly the same.
Luff may get them out of trouble here. Creswell for goal.
Copped an absolute hammering, that post yesterday, Sandy.
The old woodwork. Darren Creswell.
Is that the third or the fourth time that particular post has been hit?
Third, I think, for that one, but there's been another one that's copped it too. Creswell just 8 kicks, which is probably not his normal standard today. Rice from the back pocket. Hamill and Koutafidis. Aren't you spoiled having those two there? Koutafidis tried to slap it out. Freeborn Soccer's off the ground. Down towards Whitnell and Schauble. Schauble kicks it off the ground and finds Bolton. Jude Bolton, 75 out. Penetrating kick up towards O'Loughlin and co. No one takes it cleanly. Hand pass comes the way of Rice again. He's taken the ground and loses the footy. Koutafidis calls for it and gets it. Look at that. Look at that. You're gone, Kouta. Held it for a darn long time. Saddington took it off him. Fitzgerald couldn't get clear. Rice, a fierce tackle on O'Loughlin. It's high. The advantage is paid. Creswell will bend back a check side and hopefully kick a goal. And he has.
Yeah, it was a good goal in the end by Darren Creswell. You mentioned he's been a bit quiet today. He's 9 kicks, 8 handballs. And Mickey O'Loughlin's certainly been very quiet also. He's only had 11 possessions and really hasn't featured all that much in the play. Koutafidis did hang on to the footy for a fair while, but he's still got a handball away. Jason Saddington, good quick handball. And in the end, if we see Darren Creswell's goal, A nice little check side kick from the boundary and a pretty critical goal.
Sydney's second goal in the second half. O'Connor on the ball, up against Allen, won by the former. As the shadows start to lengthen, Freeborn kicks around the body to Whitnell. Oh, Lance shows some speed and dash. Favola, forever lurking, recovers well. Back towards Whitnell again, 50 out. Ugly looking punt in towards full forward. Thrown out to O'Connor by Saddington. He in turn gives it to Maxfield. Stewie's away in game number 100 in the red and white. A couple of bounces and he looks towards the 50. They need Adam Goods to take a mark or someone to fire up there in that forward zone. McKay had it, lost it. Carlton have the numbers. Look at this. Rice and Silvani and co will bring it away. Back towards half back. Franchina goes back again to Bradley. Bradley gets through some very heavy traffic, eventually giving it to Freeborn, and he is clear. Up towards Whitnell, going back with the flight of the ball. Couldn't quite take the mark. Pokes it out the back door. You threw it though, Lance. He knows he threw it too. The tired kick comes the way of Saddington. Gee, there are some hands on some hips out there now. He kicks in towards centre wing. Houghton was a little late on Nix. And Matthew has the ball.
Play on.
No one on the mark, so he does. He wanted Schwass all along. Now Wayne will have to come back onto that left footer. He's going to get into trouble. Gives the hand pass away to Nix. Centering kick by Nix. Kuda comes clear. Spots Ratton out of the shadows. And Brett is away. Up towards Whitnell and Hamill. The latter takes a strong mark. I really like Aaron Hamill as a player. Strong as old nails. Away he goes, spearing the pass, an absolute beauty into Michael Mansfield.
He just works so hard as a forward, Aaron Hamill. Just really always presents himself, always pushes up the ground. That was a strong mark on Leo Barry. And then a very good finish. Michael Mansfield has run himself into a little bit of form. 13, 14 possessions. That's a terrific kick from Hamill. And half back at the moment, Mansfield, so running down and should kick this goal.
And it was good effort by the Blues forward line to keep that space open for Mansfield to run into it.
46 metres out. Close. Might have just snuck it home. Just got it in.
Yes, he was pretty happy, Sandy, as you are. Having seen your favourite player in the competition just absolutely blitz the Sydney Swans today. The post-mortems will all be about Kuda, but Aaron Hamill is also another one whose career just continues to build in credibility. As a 22-year-old, he's been around some time, but there's a long way to go for Aaron Hamill.
First goal to Michael Mansfield, 16th to Carlton. Their first for this final quarter. O'Connor allows Allen to run over the top of him, courtesy of a favourable bounce. The Ratton hand pass, beautiful to Hamill again. Here they go once more. He picked someone out. The ball is going to drop short. Favola, the idea was right. Sydney have the numbers. There's a lot of red and white there. O'Connor trying to thread a hand pass through towards Creswell. He's claimed. Franchina taken out of it. Stafford is back on. The big man lurking in the middle. Kicks towards half forward. Stolen by O'Loughlin. Baigee's been quiet today when they needed him to stand up. Armat tried to push it forward. Not quite successful. Sydney have got a chance here. They had a chance, but they were unable to take advantage of it, courtesy of the Carlton defence.
Yeah, look, they've stood tall today to the Carlton defence. Stephen Silvani's been outstanding. McKay's been great down there. Bradley's been good when he's been down there as well, playing in the back pocket. They've really, Houghton's also been another good player, just really closed Sydney's space down.
11 minutes remaining in this game as Carlton look to cement their place in the top 8. Still early days in the season, but you'd rather be there than down the bottom. Adam Goods, somewhat enigmatic today.
He's just struggling a bit, Paul, at the moment. Norwich Rising Star Award winner last year, and Started the season well, but really battling at the moment.
Yeah, look, he's just not getting enough of the football, I guess. He's doing some good things, and he kicked 5 goals a couple of weeks ago, but probably just needs to get a little bit more involved in the game.
Franchina kicks towards Hamill and Stafford. Waiting down is Bradley. Had it, lost it to Bolton. Well done, Jude. Nix slaps it further forward to Schwass. A fierce tackle by Hamill causes that ball to break free and causes the turnover. Fletcher pops it over the top. Look out! Allen will go back on centre wing. Now he's got Lance Whitnell alone down on that half-forward line. Now covered, but Lance makes the space. Wants to go on with it. I'd love to see Brendan Favola kick a goal. And
ball's coming back to Big Lance.
He's going to lose the chance, maybe.
Brendan will have to wait for another couple of minutes.
So back it comes to Whitnell, who's 55 out.
He may well just go back and do the job himself.
Well, he hasn't kicked one to date. That's unusual for the big man. He's kicked 22 goals, 11 coming into this year. Oh, Silvani and co jostled for that. I think it was Koutafidis. Back to Whitnell, Camporelli. They're mucking around. Sauce might kick a goal.
He's keen to
Smothered.
get one.
He's keener than Brendan at the moment. Bolton taken high. Whitnell will give it to Koutafidis if he can get to him. He can't. And eventually it's stolen and pushed towards Troy Luff. Luff looks up towards centre wing. No one at home for Sydney. Fletcher uncontested. Oh, Bradley's screaming for it. Speaking of uncontested, there are a couple. Houghton is another. Short towards Silvani. Gives Troy Luff a little clip over the ear. Something to go on with, but he still takes a good strong mark for Luff. Been a fine player for Sydney over the years. O'Connor in from the side. Rice stood his ground and then recovered. Tried to get it out to McKay, who wanted to slap it further afield to Franchina. Not successful, and there'll be another bounce.
I guess if you're looking for a few Swans good players, and they're pretty hard to find, but Jude Bolton's been outstanding today. I think 14 kicks, 9 handballs, really tackled very, very hard. And this could be an important step in his progress as a league footballer.
Well, just 20 years of age, he's set an example to some of his more senior players. Matthews kicks to half forward. Belted down in front. Mansfield was there, and he is at the bottom of that pack. Look at it. He's not making a huge attempt to get it out, but there'll be another.
I think Blue supporters will be pretty pleased with the way their side has bounced back after a couple of beltings earlier in the year, particularly against the Bombers. They fought back in that last term to turn around what was about a 50-point deficit at three-quarter time to go down by, I think, from memory, 24 points. Since then, they've been quite impressive.
A chance for Carlton to go forward again as Rice goes belting through the middle. He needs assistance and he's poked it out in front. Oh, Camporelli almost ran into his teammate there in Brett Backwell. Back to Camporelli again. 47 metres out is Scott Camporelli, and another behind.
I think with Carlton, they did make a few changes after that game to Essendon. They seemed to stiffen up their midfield a bit. Camporelli not too happy about missing that, but Franchina moved in the middle of the ground, and they tended to rotate their midfielders a bit more. They relied pretty heavily on 2 or 3 early in the year, Bradley being one of them. But I think the last 3 weeks they've been able to relieve a bit of pressure on guys like Bradley and Camporelli and Koutafidis and just bring some different faces.
Oh, Roosie, if you wanted the day complete, you now have it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say about that, Sandy.
He was warned. So we've got a bounce. Dunkley will slam it over the line. And I have a feeling they might bring it in a little quicker this time.
Yeah, Wayne Swass has gone back, and you can bet that he'll get it as far away from the goals as possible, you would think.
Perhaps look towards the big rhino. He does, and Saddington is there as well. Jason Saddington is on halfback. Kicks towards centre wing. O'Connor backed into the pack. The Koutafidis hand pass was like greased lightning to Manton. Manton's kick is a rainmaker towards half forward. Barry couldn't take the mark. Franchina caught one, but he got it to Camporelli. Where is Brendan? He's got it in front of the eyes, and he's going to have a shot. But he's going to chip it short. And intercepting is Maxfield. And
the goals and Brendan aren't a great marriage just at the moment.
not at the minute. In fact, there's considerable counselling required. Barry, not paid. Backwell, fierce tackle. Sock it out of his hands. O'Connor has it now. Bradley's got the big rhino, though, and he's got the line. Deliberate, said the umpire. Bradley plays on now. Spearing it in towards Mansfield, who could have gone on with it on the left foot. Now goes back, and he'll charge it in towards that danger zone. Allen is there. Favola is there. Neither able to complete the mark. The short ball hand pass is good to Barry. The boy from Deniliquin comes wide towards centre wing. O'Connor, perhaps called out by Armour there, but maybe a little late. The pair combine to kick up towards right half forward. McKay, a good spoiler. Bolton tried his heart out, got it out to Luff. He caught one high. Armat lost it. Carlton are relentless. Koutafidis another possession. Not quite.
Well, that's a free kick. He didn't dispose of the football.
McKay, short. Go on with it, Adrian Hickmott. You've got players loose inside 50. And one of them is Matty Allen.
Well, the umpire pretty kind to Cooter there. He's obviously going to pick up the 3 Brownlow votes because he can break the rules and still get away with them.
Well, he's only had 39.
If you have a look there, there's the tackle. Sorry, Roosie, and he didn't get anywhere near connecting with that football. And that is a free kick and a poor decision from the umpire.
He's had a lazy 39 possessions.
Well, it's been a battle.
Might pick up the 1 vote.
Matty Allen kicked 2 goals in the first quarter, so it'd be a nice way to cap off his day's work. But he's kicking from 52 metres, and he might have to spend some time with Brendan next week on the training track doing a bit of shooting for goal, Gerard.
Well, with the jumper number on his back, Brendan, of the great Alex Jesaulenko, maybe he could ring Jezza up and get him back to Optus Oval.
Yes. We have just over 5 minutes remaining before Sydney's going to be put out of their misery for the day. This is going to be a very good win for Carlton. Camporelli tried to paddle it out to Bradley, lost it. Instead, it goes to Creswell. Creswell around the body, and that's okay, finding the quiet, the subdued for Michael O'Loughlin. Kicks in towards centre half forward. Saddington gives it away quickly towards Fosdyke. The boy originally from Norwood in South Australia sees it into the pocket.
Yeah, it's important that Sydney really fight out the game and I guess limit the damage a bit. We see the bench there, Goods and Ball really struggled against Silvani today, just didn't give a target. And Silvani is obviously a very, very good player, and Ball's coming back only the second game after missing 4 or 5 weeks.
Camporelli has a hand on that ball, so too does Mike Mansfield.
You think this taking its toll, Roosie, of losing those 4 close games today?
Yeah, look, that's a possibility, Dipper. I guess when you lose close games, probably the next week can go either way, can't it? You either win by a big margin, or, you know, you come out very flat, and they've come out very flat today.
Stafford tries to get clear, gives it away to Fosdyke, who kicks a goal. Nick Fosdyke came back into this lineup this week. He has got his first goal with 4 minutes remaining in the game.
And it was a pretty fine snap, but just getting back to the issue of it can go either way, being flat or being fierce at the footy. I mean, the Swan season is up for grabs over the next month, and this is just another game that they could have scored 4 points from. And it's now been a month since they've added to their 3 wins in a row at the start of the season.
Well, Sydney now has 3 games at the SCG, Port Adelaide Bulldogs and Geelong. Carlton, on the other hand, has Fremantle, St Kilda and the Kangaroos. Carlton have a chance of really cementing a spot in the top 4 or 5. But, of course, all that lies ahead. McKay takes the advantage, sneaks away from Johnny Stevens, kicks it towards Freeborn. They've got players streaming down the ground. Fletcher.
And as good as we believe Cooter's been today, Andrew McKay hasn't been far behind him.
Well, they were the 2 last week, weren't they? Dunkley's kick is wide. Fletcher will keep it in play. Favola's screaming for it down in the forward line. Allen is there as well. Sydney have the numbers. Matthews has the football. From fullback, comes wide towards halfback, and the mark is taken by Schäuble. Plays on quickly. Saddington again, picking up plenty of possessions in this final quarter. Towards Stafford and co. McKay and Franchina both weight down. Franchina taken high initially. The umpire called play on. Fine tackle on Luff. Another one on Bolton. Ball spills free. Maxfield, he's a left footer here. He won't like that at all. He didn't like that at all, did he? As he wobbled it into the pocket. Didn't even go over the line. And Lance Whitner was able to amble to it to Lappin. Lappin and Bradley will saunter down the half-back flank region and poke it up towards left half forward. Here goes Bradley now, taking it from him, going into the wide open spaces. The bounce is very kind for Dunkley. Charges out now. Sydney and Carlton both just going through the motions as Schäuble kicks to right half forward. O'Loughlin and Lappin lock arms. Well done by Lappin to belt it clear. And another one by Beaumont. Backwell's kick is high. Bradley fisted away by Schäuble. Waiting down is Creswell. He looks in towards the 50. McKay, the spoiler. In fact, tried in the end to take the mark. Almost succeeded, Andy McKay. Loses it, but goes again. Mansfield, Fletcher, here they go. They're clear now. Freeborn to the outer side. Favola. Now he's 55 out. He goes short. He wants Koutafidis. He's got to come back. O'Loughlin on the bench. Favola a long way out. He wants to give it away. He
gave it away.
He did give it away, but it's not in the fashion that he nor David Parkin had in mind. O'Connor. Creswell. Bradley gets him, but he gets his kick down towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Fitzgerald. Ryan Fitzgerald inside 50, slapped towards the line. Bolton caught by Backwell. Rice head down, bottom up, finishes with Backwell. Spent considerable time on the bench, gets his chance now and is enjoying it as Hickmott takes the mark on centre wing. Adrian Hickmott, they want Koutafidis. Dunkley is in front. Camporelli waiting down, needs support, gave it away beautifully. Beaumont's a left footer normally. Favola late on Saddington, pokes it down towards Freeborn. It's still in the danger zone as far as Sydney are concerned. Kirk had it and lost it. Eventually Matthews over the top to Schwass. This is a tired finish to this game as Schwass kicks to the outer side. He finds Crouch. Crouch goes in towards the middle and he's got Fosdyke. Still a long way from home. He puts him inside 50. Good looking kick. Stevens couldn't juggle it. Goes again. Rice wanted the boundary line. Mansfield and Houghton are there to assist with McKay. His kick is wide. Hickmott on the boundary line. And Sydney have been put out of their misery. It's fitting that Koutafidis finishes with the ball. He's had a sensational game, and let's go down to him now. Here is with Dipper.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sandy. Well, Kouta, you ended up with the ball there, but you brought your own ball in that third quarter. Well played.
Yeah, thanks, Dipper. Look, 4-3 now, we're 5-3. Great effort, the boys. Fantastic game. Sydney play a game where you can lose them easily, so we stuck at it, and that was a good win at the end.
It was a pretty flat game after half-time, I thought.
Yeah, I guess it was. It was just a tight game, tight tussle, Dipper, and it was just a good win at the end of the day.
Now, your form, mate, last week was fantastic, but today, come on, what are you eating at the moment? Come on, tell me the secret. Much better than Everest ice cream.
Yeah, Everest ice cream and Mum's pasta.
Good on you, mate. Well done. Congratulations. Great to see.
Yes, an outstanding performance by Carlton and Koutafidis today. He finished with 19 kicks, 20 hand passes and 13 marks. Carlton running out victors in the end by 45 points. They led by 51 at three-quarter time. The damage was done in the third term. So the final score here at Optus Oval, Carlton 16-13, 109. 45-point winners over Sydney, 9-10, 64.